What's up, everybody? We're out here doing another tool tour real quick. The last video really blew up. Everybody seemed to like it. It's still getting a lot of views, so we wanted to update y'all on the new setup and everything. But before we get into that, I wanted to say hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and that they have a good New Year coming up. We got a couple of days till New Year's now, so I hope it goes good for everybody. And the older I get, the more I start enjoying this time of year even more and more and more because we got the celebrating the birth of our Savior, and then after that, a few days later, the start of a new year. And the commonality between these two holidays is just the end of something old and the beginning of something new. And so, hopefully, everybody's new year goes really well, and 2025 treats you well. If you didn't have a good holiday season, I'm sorry, and I hope that next year is much better for you. I know life doesn't really stop during the holidays, but hopefully next year goes a little bit better for you. But anyway, this is Sparky the Plug. My granddad found this thing. It's like an old spark plug display. My granddad found this thing at an estate sale or something like that and gave it to me for my videos. So it's going to be making cameos in my videos moving on forward. So any videos you see come out after this, it'll be hidden somewhere in the background. So just leave a comment below if you find the spark plug and let me know where it was. Let me know where you found it. So, okay. All right, so let's look at the new setup here. All right, so we'll start with the back of the truck. And first of all, you can see I've changed my jack. Now it sits on the side. I put some 3M like double-sided tape over here. So it's kind of like foam and stuff. So it keeps it from scratching the side of my truck and everything. And then I just use a bungee cord to wrap it around. It seems to be working really well. It doesn't really move. And then the toolbox. So I got a new toolbox recently. I'm about to uncover it. But in the last tour video, I had a bunch of people leave a bunch of really helpful comments about, organization and stealing and, some theft and stuff like that, So I really took all that advice and I try to implement it. And so I think you're really going to like this new setup. My dad also owns a business. He owns a pressure washing business. And so I did a bunch of work for him and for his business, working on his trucks and everything. And I wouldn't let him pay me for anything. So then he just showed up with a new toolbox. My old ones, I started the business really with not a lot of capital. So when I started, it was just toolboxes I had left over, from just life. And so they had gotten to the point where they were all beat up, they're falling apart and everything. And so, I mean, the drawers weren't even on the rails anymore. I mean, it was pretty much just me stacking drawers of tools in there and then like pulling them out and setting them aside. So it was time for a new one. So my dad pulled up one day with this new toolbox, and luckily it was green. I've really loved Harbor Freight's green tools lately. You can see I'm turning everything green in the back of my truck. But, huh?
You're rambling too much.
Okay. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. This is just a grill cover I got from Academy Sports and Outdoors. It was like 20 bucks. Works really well. The last toolboxes had edges that came off and went over, so it was kind of waterproof on its own. This one's not. The water can get in here and leak in there and rust on my tools, so I got that cover. It's like 20 bucks at Academy. Definitely worth it. So one of the new additions is this thing is bolted in now, so difficult to steal. It's bolted through the base plate in the bottom of the toolbox into the truck bed. The lock on this thing is really good. I should probably add another auxiliary lock, but for right now, this one's worked fine for me. And the organization, I think, is really going to be satisfying. You're going to like it a lot more than last time. So starting off first, we got our screwdriver and plier drawer. Now, what I have holding these things in, it's a mobile mechanic business, so when you're driving around, these tools have a tendency to fall out of their holders or roll around and everything. It's hard to keep them all in one spot. So I got these magnetic strips from Harbor Freight. They're like $2 or $3. And I put them down, and that's what my screwdrivers are magneted to, and it holds everything in place. They don't really move around. So I got Phillips head on the top from larger to smallest, and then under here I got flat heads from largest to smallest, and then a couple of oddballs like picks and this little socket thing, all that kind of stuff. Moving over here, we got our pliers. I got them all sorted. I did the same thing with a magnetic strip. This is a rack like $2 or $3 from Harbor Freight, I think. And then I put a magnetic strip underneath it running all the way across. So my pliers stick to that magnetic strip and they don't move around. if it wasn't for that, they'd slide all over the place and get out of order and everything. But that thing really, here, if you want to get a close up of it, you can see how it runs. That's part of it, and it just runs all the way across this rack under there. Holds everything in place, works really well. Moving on, we got the metric wrench set here. So I got a couple of racks of metric wrenches. These, once again, were from Harbor Freight. And then I got them all separated in my ratcheting wrenches. This is a miscellaneous set. I got my Pittsburgh wrenches over here that go all the way up to 25 millimeter, and so on and so forth. And then I got a couple of oddballs over here. You know, my pipe wrenches, some that didn't really have a place to live. Much better than the old setup. Same thing for my standard wrenches. On these, I have a bunch more oddball wrenches. So I got stuff like this one that somebody bent at one point. I'm sure there was some specific reason they bent it for. I keep it in here because I never know what I'm going to run into. Got some of these that are offset, and then the rest of them are all in racks. Now the ones that aren't in racks here they're held up on these wrench rings. These are also from Harbor Freight. The whole thing, everything in here almost is from Harbor Freight. They just have great deals now. They've really set their game up. But these are all my 1 1/8, my large wrenches, stuff that couldn't fit in those racks or were too big or misshaped, like this one's twisted. You know, they're just weird shapes that wouldn't really fit. So that's how I keep those organized. And then these right here, this rack is just all my double boxed in wrenches. I really don't like getting rid of tools because you never know what you're going to run into out there on the road. So, but that's how I keep those oddballs, you know, organized and everything. So we'll move down here. Now this is my power tool drawer. Some of the other stuff that doesn't fit in any other drawer too, I put down here. So like this 1-inch ratchet, and then this breaker bar, and then this set. You'll remember this from last time. This is my set of sockets and everything, my Quinn set, also from Harbor Freight. Now this thing, the reason I keep this in here out of order is just because it's easy to just grab this box and take it over to the car that I'm working on. 9 times out of 10, this is all the you know, sockets and everything I'm going to need. Then I got my Sawzall just in case, air ratchet, electric ratchet, impact and drill, all from Harbor Freight also. I got a big old corded impact right here just in case I need a little bit more. Grease gun, all that kind of stuff. So this is my electric drawer. It's got my wire snippers, strippers, crimpers.
Oh no! I'm speaking in rhyme! Blast you!
My scan tool here. I got a push button starter just in case I got to get out there on an old truck. I need to test out the solenoid. Then I got spark plug tester, multimeter, fuses, butt connectors, all kinds of stuff in here. This is just, it's easier to keep all my electric stuff together. Usually if you need one electric thing, you're going to need a bunch of electrical things. So keep it all together so it's easy to find. Right here, I call this my magic drawer. I worked in a shop one time and had a mechanic that I worked under. His name was Clark Sink, but he taught me a lot about cars, and a lot of times I taught me about being hot-headed too, because sometimes I'd try to argue with him and he'd always end up being right, and it was embarrassing. So he taught me a lot of lessons about just listening to people and learning easier than figuring it out on my own. But he always had a magic drawer in his toolbox, and it was just full of random little things, little knickknacks. You know, I got some brake bleeder stuff in here. I got some vacuum caps. Got a bunch of oil change tools in here, brake tools, you know, a balancer puller, all kinds of stuff in here. It's just kind of like if it doesn't have a home, it goes right here. This is all my socketry, my extra ratchets. I got a pickle fork in here for some reason, but extra ratchets, extensions, swivels, step ups, step downs, all that kind of stuff. This is all my sockets. So I got bolt removers. I got all these racks and everything I believe came from Harbor Freight. Some of them I got at estate sales and stuff. I just collected them over the years. So I got impact sockets in here. They're all in a rack though, so I can pull them out and I can find what I need to find in here. Got crow's feet, Got, you know, everything I need to in here. Swivel is a whole rack of 10mm stuff right here. I showed this in the last video. I still love it. Still one of my best purchases for the price. All right, then we're moving up to the top. Now this up here has got a bunch of stuff. You know, I got to keep all my greases and stuff like that over here. I got some spool of electrical wire, tapes, all kinds of tapes. Flashlights all stay right here. Safety glasses, yellow glasses for finding leaks. You know, got some gloves in here. I keep all my brake fluid here. I got my paper towel roll here. This is another handy thing from Harbor Freight. This is just a magnetic towel roll holder. Now I got my torque wrench, a bunch of little magnetic trays and stuff like that in here. They're not really a tool thing, but I got these from Walmart, just little Tupperware bowls. And that's where I hold all my, this one's got all my Allen keys. This has got a bunch of drill bits and stuff like that in here. And this is all my, I call this my goop box. So all my goops and stuff are in here. So I got Permatex, Indian Head, JB Weld, stuff like that in here. So those are my boxes. And then these, it's another screwdriver set I got from Harbor Freight. They were on sale one day and I couldn't pass it up. I've used these a couple times. These are my favorite screwdrivers, but I don't want them to get all messed up and dirty, so I just keep them in the box and I pull them out whenever I need them. But those just live right up in here. Oh, and all my hammers and everything are right here. This is another magnetic tray. I use a lot of magnet stuff to keep everything sorted, but I just leave that magnet tray right there. It keeps all those hammers in place and everything. Boom. All right, moving on in the truck. I got all my extra fluids right here, coolants, oils, transmission fluids, all that kind of stuff. It all stays right here, just bungee corded in. Works pretty good. Moving over here. A lot of this stuff is the same, just a little bit different. I got my green Harbor Freight jack stands. Got my wheel chocks, bigger breaker bars out here. My gas tanks. I don't really carry around a lot of gas most of the time, but if I get to a job and the guy's like, oh yeah, by the way, my car's out of gas, so, you know, can you fill it up for me? That's happened a couple times, so I just keep those back here just in case. Got all my oil catch pans right here. I keep them sealed and everything so I don't get water in there. Doesn't cause any issues for trying to dispose of it. Got my vacuum tank, a new air compressor, and then that's pretty much it. Everything else is the same in the cab. I got chargers in there, inverters and stuff like that for my batteries. Still don't have a generator yet. If anybody has one, they want to donate one, that'd be great. And then I keep like jumper cables, jump boxes, all that kind of stuff in the behind the seats of the cab. So anyway, I just wanted to update y'all, let y'all know that I am listening to your comments, taking your advice and everything, and let y'all know this setup works a lot better for me than the last setup. So if you're trying to start a mobile mechanic business, this is the route I would go if possible. So I'll catch you next time. Thank y'all for watching. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. All that kind of crap. I'll see you next time.